Hello, welcome to Canvas, the Niger Delta Roundtable, where I discuss the future of this region blessed with hydrocarbon and human resources. Every week, we give time to reflecting on the topics relevant to the development of the Niger Delta and her people. This episode, we're still doing that. I'm here, and once again, focusing on how to take this region to a more promising future. The podcast is sponsored by the operator of the NNPC Renaissance Total Energies Active Joint Venture, Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited, headquartered in Port Harcourt. Thanks for joining. I'm Adedayo Elushakin. The topic for this episode is Who Tells Our Wiki Story? This episode asks a simple but powerful question. Who tells our story and where is that story told? In the digital age, knowledge travels faster than ever. People no longer discover places, cultures, and histories only through books or classrooms. They turn to the internet. They search. They scroll. They read entries. They believe what they see. And standing at the center of global knowledge is one platform millions rely on every day: Wikipedia. But when it comes to the Niger Delta, its people, history, culture, leaders, environment, and communities, how complete is the story being told? Who is writing those pages? Whose voices are represented? And whose are missing? Today we explore the importance of digital documentation, open knowledge, and why the fight for visibility in online spaces is a fight for identity, memory, and dignity. Again, today, the topic on Canvas is Who Tells Our Wiki Story? My guest is Michael Diala. Michael Diala is a project manager and social innovator with a strong passion for cultural tourism and heritage development. In 2019, he founded the Wiki Niger Delta community, driven by his commitment to knowledge sharing, advocacy, and community development, guided by his belief that life is a journey of guided learning. Michael continues to champion initiatives that connect heritage preservation with digital innovation and sustainable community development. Michael Diala, hi, welcome to Canvas,
Thank,
Niger Delta Roundtable.
thank you, Dio. How are you today?
I'm alive, thank you, and you?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
It took us a while to get to actualizing this. You've committed to recording this for some weeks now, but your schedule's been here and there. Mine's been a bit erratic as well. But thank you for your patience and your commitment to doing this because finally we are recording today.
Thank you also for having me
Yeah,
on this show.
it's great to have you here. You seem to me like someone who is fascinated and very concerned about the concept of knowledge and knowledge sharing and its acquisition, of course. So when you think knowledge, when you think sharing acquisition of knowledge, when you think the Niger Delta, what comes to mind for you first?
So basically, the thing that comes to my mind first of all is I think visibility. I think originality and authenticity. And this is, I mean, the major reason we set up the Wiki Niger Delta community, where because let's say ordinarily before now we used to have this stereotype about the Niger Delta, which is around oil spillage, environmental, degradation, and also conflicts. So, but then there's another angle to it which projects our cultural heritage, our history, our people, and then the languages that we have, which, kind of brings together the unity in our diversity. So, the Wiki Niger Delta community brings together, storytellers around the Niger Delta to tell their stories themselves using the Wikipedia platform as a leverage to do that so that the whole world can see the beautiful culture, our food, our languages that we have in abundance here.
I imagine that there are a number of reasons, multiplicity even, that inspired the Wiki Niger Delta community. So while there may be those remote reasons or causes, I suspect there may have been an immediate one as well. So what was the immediate inspiration for your setting up the Wiki Niger Delta community?
Thank you very much once more. So, basically, the major reason why we set it up was in 2019 was basically for the reason of underrepresentation. We felt that the Niger Delta, has its peculiar realities and there's every need for us to project it the way it should be, right? And secondly, I also felt that a lot of, young people as at then was doing a lot of things, but there was no coordinated platform where we could project, what we do, to the world to see. And I think that was like the awakening for us. And then we set it up. And since then, it hasn't been easy, but we're gradually, projecting and putting the Niger Delta on the global map.
Why is it important, ever so often, not just yourself, but kudos to the work you're doing. And there are others who are featured on Canvas as well, and who I'm certain will feature in the future, very passionate and talk so strongly about the need to tell our stories. Tell our stories. Why is that so important? Why is storytelling so important? And why is it so important to tell the Niger Delta story?
No, thank you again. So, storytelling is the power we have to change our narrative. It's the power, and it must be done in a space of originality and authenticity. And that is why, if we don't tell our stories, others would, misrepresent it and tell it the way they feel. But then, when we become part of the process, we don't just become we don't just become just part of the idea, but we become owners of the stories. So we tell our stories the way it ought to be told. So that's why storytelling is very powerful and critical to knowledge sharing and global recognition of the Niger Delta.
But what does it matter what the narrative is? I mean, if some person in some far-flung part of the world doesn't bother to visit the Niger Delta, for example, and maybe experience it for themselves and draw what might be informed positions or conclusions, what does it matter what that person is thinking over there? If we know what we think of ourselves here and we know and appreciate what our reality is, why does it matter once again what someone in some the other ends of the world thinks about the Niger Delta?
Yes, there has been a lot of misconception, right? And Um, let's say, for example, the first point of call when you want to maybe to go for, I mean, take on a research, or you want to investigate about a cause or a policy or issues around environment, you go to Wikipedia. And eh, we realize that there hasn't been enough information around the Niger Delta. This made us to understand that a lot of people actually, like the government, also use some of this information for decision making purposes. And then a lot of NGOs too, when we talk about these things, right, it becomes a point of concern. And let's say, for an example, the environmental issues surrounding the Ogoni people and all of that. So it becomes a point of call for them to intervene in issues such as this. So we are trying to create, change the narrative, and also create, change the narrative, and also create um, like a global campaign about the Niger Delta region on a global scale.
Why Wikipedia? And how does Wikipedia change global perceptions of regions such as the Niger Delta?
Well, Wikipedia is the world's largest encyclopedia. Anyone in the world, over 60 million people actually visit the site. And for us in the Niger Delta, we believe that our region is peculiar, and there are realities that we must project to the world to see. And then Wikipedia is one of the projects that's okay. Let me give you a rundown of how these things work. So, the Wikipedia platform is run by Wikimedia Foundation, just like you have Google, and then you have Google has Google Plus, Google, Gmail, YouTube, and all of that. So the Wikimedia Foundation is a platform that houses Wikipedia. So Wikipedia is the article aspect of Wikimedia Foundation, and then you also have a media repository, which is the Wikimedia Commons, where we we project or we like a media repository that houses pictures, videos, and all of that. So there are different, projects that is being housed by the Wikimedia Foundation. So it depends on the ones that we have interest. But for our own region, we focus more on articles that project history, our languages, our culture. We also project renowned individuals who have done incredibly well in the region, and also festivals and culture. We recently we focused our attention on rights and rituals, which is a campaign, an African campaign for Wiki Loves Africa. So we focused on rights and rituals, which focused on um, um, festivals that we have, folklores, our languages, our culture, our heritage, basically. And then we are able to bring together storytellers across the Niger Delta, the finest storytellers across the Niger Delta to come together, build their capacity, um, and also equip them to also project their story on Wikipedia. That way, anybody who searches for some of these, rights and rituals can easily find them on Wikipedia. Secondly, it also helps in giving, because some of these rites and rituals are actually going on extinct, if you will agree with me. So it helps us also preserve these things for the next for the future generation to benefit from. If you ask me, if you go to universities, some of our university students do not even know, some of our customs, some of our tradition, because they faded away, and there are no oral documentary histories that could actually back some of these things up. So this is where we come in to actually bring together a group of like-minded storytellers who are willing to volunteer their time and their, passion to change the narrative of the Niger Delta.
How does Wikipedia work? Intrinsically. So, interestingly, you used the Google example a while ago. Anyone can log on to Google, for example, or Gmail and open a Gmail account.
Exactly.
So is that how it works with Wikipedia as well? Do you just open an account and create a page or create a community? How does it work?
No, it is an inclusive platform. Anyways, is guided by community guidelines though. So what we do is to train you and build your capacity. But then there's a room for, let's say, someone who is a content creator who writes. Wikipedia is the best platform. And the stereotype that there are a group of people that actually edit Wikipedia is wrong. Anybody can actually edit as long as you follow the policy and guidelines to. So that is why we are making it open for everybody to tell their stories themselves. It's just that there are guidelines that you follow that make sure that you meet the citation requirements, you meet the references requirements for a particular biography, or for a particular picture that you are putting on Wiki Commons or Wikipedia. I mean, there are different platforms. There's Wiki News, there's Wiki Voyage. There are a lot of them, but then the major ones that we focus on is the one for article writing, and then the one for pictures, videos, and audio visuals, which is Wikimedia and Wikimedia Commons.
Can I use the term open source to describe Wikipedia?
Exactly.
Now, if that's the case, and anyone can edit,
Exactly.
as you say, as long as you meet certain guidelines. But then again, almost any piece of information can be misrepresented. Depends on the motive of the author or the person who is doing the editing.
Yes.
So even though you and others are trying to tell, positive, proper, factual Niger Delta stories, can some other person or persons not, in editing and considering that the intentions and motives could be negative, can they not misconstrue, misrepresent, or even give outrightly false information as long as they meet certain criteria which they could twist to suit their negative intentions?
Okay, thank you very much. So there are certain guidelines, like I said, that you have to meet, right? And which one of them is external citation and references. So if a particular idea or a particular information has not been carried by external sources, and not just external sources, verifiable external sources over a long period of time, it's not going to go. So it must be something that has been generally, that has been accepted, not just accepted, but then has been um has been validated by external newspapers, publishers, radio stations, news stations, and all of that. So it's not just something you just wake up and then I think this is what it is, and then you change it. So there must be a backup for every, and there must be validation actually for every information that is put on Wikipedia.
What kind of stories or topics about the Niger Delta are you prioritizing?
Like I said earlier, we have focused in the past. We focused on governance, like institutions across the Niger Delta, like the local government, putting them on global map. The festivals like Bole Festival and the rest of them. We've also focused on cultural and heritage sites and all of that. So we've gone to areas like Bonny Island, Opobo, and the rest of that. We have also um, focused on languages as well. So we did something around the Ibani language some time ago because it's actually going on extinct. And we worked with the Ibani Language Development Initiative to see.
I think I have the founder of that.
Yeah,
Uh,
Mr. Pepu.
I think I had him on Canvas sometime in the previous
Oh,
edition. Yeah.
that's interesting. So we work with them and we are still going to continue that partnership. So basically, it's majorly and then renowned individuals and change makers who are doing incredibly well in projecting the Niger Delta to the world. So that's those are things that we are interested in, and those are things that we want to see.
Now, we have lots of interesting stories in Niger Delta, no doubt. It's in Nigeria generally, but we're focusing on the Niger Delta. And for some customs, in some traditions, in some locals, they have a very strong oral traditions.
Thanks.
So stories may not be properly documented, written somewhere. They're passed down orally from one generation to another. And these are stories that still need to be told still, and maybe put documented, as with Wikipedia, for example. So in such situations, how do you source and verify local knowledge, especially ones that are passed down via through oral traditions?
Okay, so we work majorly with cultural custodians in a particular area. Let's say, for example, we went to a place called Barako Kingdom in Ogoni. We were in talks with the king of the community, and he gave us access. He gave us access to the core custodians who have the right information through oral documentation and then pictorial documentation or video documentation as well. So we focus more on oral, the custodians in the communities that we work. And as well, we also work with researchers who have citations that we could use as external sources to back up some of the information that we have. And then we also have academic institutions. So what we do is we also have fan clubs in the schools to draw information closer, and then references closer to from institutions such as Uniport, UST, and all of that.
So this community, the Wiki Niger Delta community, um, and you're putting up the Niger Delta stories on Wikipedia and using other Wikipedia platforms as well, or Wiki Foundation platforms as they call it. Uh, how is it represented on Wikipedia? Is it just because when you search for Niger Delta online, you'll find a Wikipedia link.
Thanks.
So is it just that, or are there other resources on Wikipedia that speak to this Niger Delta stories?
Oh, okay, okay. Like I said, this is a community, a vibrant community of storytellers, of creatives in the Niger Delta, and can I can you raise the
Okay,
question?
so you're using Wikipedia
Yes.
and other wiki platforms
Yeah.
to tell Niger Delta stories. And like I said earlier, when you Google when you Google the Niger Delta, you find a Wikipedia link. So all of these stories that you're telling of the Niger Delta, is it just that one Niger Delta page that the storytellers and creatives in the Niger Delta are editing and re-editing and populating, or are there other pages created to tell the Niger Delta story?
Okay, so there's one. This is just a community, but then everything we do has a global recognition. It means there's visibility of the pictures you put on Wikimedia Commons or the articles we write. So anybody that's logged on to Wikipedia has access to, the things we do from here. So what we do basically in the local context is to have an organized platform that houses contributors like storytellers and content creators to to project the Niger Delta narrative using Wikipedia. So we just have maybe a website or a link, but then there is no restriction as per the visibility that it can project.
So besides that one page that has is captioned Niger Delta,
Yeah.
there are other pages as well
Yeah,
that tell different stories.
yeah, tell different stories. There are even other groups that focus on different things basically to make sure that we capture holistically the Niger Delta story.
So your community, are you responsible for that page captioned Niger Delta on Wikipedia?
We're not just apart from the Niger Delta page, we also like the Niger Delta is just a region, but then the people, the cultures, we also put them out there, and it mustn't be on the Niger Delta page, right? It could go for maybe a cultural activity, or like now we are documenting rites and rituals in the Niger Delta, and you would find somebody put in the a yam festival in Bayelsa State, documented a yam festival in the Bayelsa State. Somebody documented a cultural event in Ishakiri. So storytellers are actually doing different things, but then at the end of the day, we have one channel which is projecting the Niger Delta. That's Niger Delta page you see on Wikipedia is just a page representing the Niger Delta, but then there are other activities that we put in, and they might come with different other pages and all of that.
I'm just curious though, who created that Niger Delta page on Wikipedia?
It could be it's someone like somebody who felt it was necessary. So like I just said, there's a popular change maker. His name is Ebenezer Wikin, and we realized that he wasn't on Wikipedia, but he has done a lot. So, and then there are external sources to back it up, and then we put him there. So there are a lot of people who haven't actually, but then they've done a lot for the region. So we are actually looking for people like that also have a verifiable track record and external sources to back up their activities or things that they have done. So anybody can actually write on Wikipedia. That's the beauty of it. And ours is to provide the right channel, platform, and then the right capacity building um, platforms to make sure that you are able to contribute.
It is Canvas and Niger Delta Roundtable brought to you by Renaissance. I've got Michael Diala here, and we're discussing telling the Niger Delta Wiki-Story, or simply telling the Niger Delta story, of course, using Wikipedia in this context, and the importance of doing that. Stay with us, we'll go for a break. We'll return shortly. This conversation is not over. Please stay with us.
In the heart of our journey, where the sun touches the earth and the wind whispers through the trees, a new chapter unfolds. A chapter where energy illuminates more than just bulbs. It lights up minds. A chapter of unity, a coming together with a common goal to energize futures and illuminating lives. In classrooms, young dreams evolve, inspired by the promise of a brighter tomorrow fueled by available energy. Small businesses flourish, becoming seeds of prosperity. Energy that empowers and is catalyst for growth and change. The future is energy. So, let's light up the path to a sustainable future together. Energy for you, me, and the world at large.
Energy for people and planet. For people and planet. Energy for people and planet.
Energy for people and planet. We are Renaissance.
Welcome back to Canvas, the Niger Delta Roundtable brought to you by Renaissance. I'm Dial. My guest is still here, Michael Diala. We're discussing who tells our Wiki-Story. Michael, thank you again for coming on.
You're welcome, Dayo.
So I have to ask you this. Now, I do appreciate, the um, altruistic motivation that a lot of people have, especially with the arts. You know, it's not always about making money. Sometimes it's just for the love of it, passion. However, passion alone doesn't pay bills. So, are there other incentives for creatives like yourself, members of your community, with the work that you're doing, putting all of this and telling the stories on about the Niger Delta on Wikipedia? In other words, is there money to be made from it?
Okay. So thank you very much for that. So first of all, it's the Wikimedia community is a volunteer-driven open source community. However, we in the past when we started with passion, and passion drives it, but you need to sustain it with. So I mean, we've also in the past gotten a little bit of support from the Wikimedia Foundation to run things in the region. And as well, we have also triggered meaningful partnerships, with the ND Link, the Niger Delta link, I think with Pin Foundation and all. So we have Arts in the Garden City, a couple of partnerships here and there to make it easy for us to do the work that we have to do. So we are also open to more partnerships and all of that. I think the beauty of all of this is the acceptability that yes, we need to tell our stories, yes, we need to preserve our memories and as well restore our dignity to the rest of the world to see. So yeah, in terms of funding, we are not there, but we are doing our little best to make sure that we do what we have to do.
What are the biggest obstacles to documenting the Niger Delta on platforms like Wikipedia?
Like I said, we have a lot of festivals, a lot of historical, but then there are no references, there are no external citations basically to back up our claims. Okay, so just a few of them have been put. So we are making sure that not just um, documenting these things, but we are able to have external, sources to back up, like an evidence base to say, okay, yes, these things actually exist. And we are doing we are relying majorly on, researches from, and then inputs from cultural custodians as well. And then partnerships as well can help, put this.
I imagine that there are a number of persons who would like to be part of this. And there may be limitations for them. There could be issues like language, there could be access barriers, even digital literacy as well. How do this impact or affect participation from others who want to be a part of this movement, if I may use that, or community as they call it?
We well, for somebody like me, do not see these things as major barriers. Yeah, we've had issues of internet cost. We've had issues of lack of awareness and sensitivity. And that's the reason why we choose to, become visible in, platforms like Canvas and other, platforms as well to create awareness about this community and as well tell people that it's not as difficult because most people feel like there are a dedicated set of people that actually edit Wikipedia. They're volunteers such as you and I, and then anybody can do it. What we need to do is to create the right platform and mentorship, and as well capacity building to make sure that you are directed properly in how to, contribute your knowledge and your history to the world for the world to see. So yes, we've had issues of, like language barriers and all of that. And to be honest with you, we have Yoruba Wikipedia, we have Igbo Wikipedia, we have Hausa Wikipedia. We can equally have Ijo Wikipedia, Ibibio Wikipedia, um, Ibani Wikipedia, and all of that. So it suits your language, right? So we have all of this, so we can equally have this in Niger Delta.
Do we currently have a Joe Wikipedia?
No,
Is there a plan for us to have a Joe Wikipedia?
we are working towards that. So
Wait, just to be clear, when you say a Joe Wikipedia, does this imply that every resource on Wikipedia is going to be in the Ijaw language?
yes,
Every single one.
exactly.
So when you say Yoruba Wikipedia, you're saying that every resource on Wikipedia is in the Yoruba language.
Yes, and it takes a lot of dedication and passion to put that.
Okay, now help me with this. Ballpark figures. How many articles or how many pieces do you have in Wikipedia?
On the Niger Delta,
No. In all,
there are a lot of articles
like
on
millions.
millions, of
Millions,
articles.
right?
Yes.
So how do you get all of those in a particular language? Say Yoruba, for example, or Igbo,
Yes.
or Hausa. How do you get millions and millions and tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions of articles? How do you get that in a particular language?
I mean, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. So we have started something with the Ibani language, and we are committing to making sure that they've already started, documenting gradually. So it's a gradual process. You don't expect us to, have all of the articles at once. So they keep writing. They've been writing, and we believe that with time, once they are incubated and they are able to, scale from there, then you see a lot of people having interest in also creating.
Pardon my still digging in along these lines, but I'm just thinking out loud. I'm very curious about this. So how does that work? For example, let's use the Igbo language. When you have a Wikipedia or Igbo Wikipedia, and you have all the articles in the Igbo, so a person's doing the translations article by article, or is it a program that simply just translates or transcribes everything to the Igbo language?
Okay, I think let me break it down for you.
Okay.
It's not necessary. It's not a must that you must convert to Igbo language all the articles on the English Wikipedia. But then there are articles that are specific to the Igbo region, notable people, traditions, culture, heritage, and all of that. Those are the things that we want to see in the Igbo, Wikipedia, and that's exactly how it is done. So for the Ijo, let's say we have an Ijo Wikipedia or a Bibio Wikipedia. So you'll be looking at everything in its entirety that defines the Ibibio or the Ijo Wikipedia or the Ijo people on that Ijo Wikipedia. And it's not necessarily that we have everything on English Wikipedia.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Okay. So you said earlier that, and you said more than once that erroneously, a lot of people think that you have a certain set of people whose only job is to edit pieces on Wikipedia, but it's not that way. It's open source information, anyone can do that. So for interested individuals, journalists, professionals, regular citizens, creative storytellers, what's the process? How do you get on Wikipedia or other wiki platforms to either create stuff or edit stuff? How does that work?
You need to be guided. It's an open source, yes, but there are guidelines to these things, and you need to be properly guided on how. That's why we advise that you join our community. So from there, we have capacity building sessions. We have training and mentorship. So you are attached to somebody who already has experience in editing or in uploading images, open license images, and the person pulls you through, and then you see yourself putting out contents there that the world could actually identify with.
So this community of yours again is called.
the Wikimedia Niger Delta community.
So how does one join the Wikipedia Niger Delta community?
We have online platforms. We have the at Wiki Niger Delta community on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram as well, and as well on LinkedIn. So you can always reach out, or you can reach out to me or anyone.
All right. So, what roles can organizations and institutions play in helping tell and document Niger Delta stories online, including Wikipedia?
Okay, so first of all, I think the parts that other organizations and it's first partnership. We need more partnership, and through partnerships you're able to explore networks that could propel your visibility and also reach out to a lot more people. Like we're talking here right now, and I know that a lot of people are curious. So we have this festival in my community. I want Wikipedia to document and all of that. So it's about networking, it's about partnership, it's about, passion for community development, which we are keen on, we are open towards.
This must be a lot of work. You're talking about documenting almost countless, historical facts, cultures, traditions of a people. It's not one sin. It's not two sins. It's almost innumerable, if I may say. So, once again, must be a lot of work. So, how does the community get focused and maintain its determination and zeal and passion to keep on doing this?
Thank you.
And if I may add, it's unpaid work as well. There may be some support, but it's not paid work.
Let me say this right. When we became so intentional with the Wikimedia Niger Delta thing, I realized how passionate a lot of young people, not just young people, a lot of people are in terms of preservation, cultural preservation. I'm telling you that just last 2 weeks we hosted the finest storytellers. They were so excited. I was curious because we literally thought that there were some, because these guys are actually renowned, but they were so excited in coming to see, just to have that feel of, okay, you're from Delta State and you are a documentary photographer, you have been projecting your culture. So a lot of people are excited to see what, their contribution to open source and knowledge sharing, and not just that, and cultural preservation would yield in the global space. So I am so we are not just and it's one step at a time, like I always say. It's not like we are documenting a whole lot of, but then gradually, if this person uploads 10 images from a festival, and then this person uploads from a cultural, coronation or something, we are gradually, putting it out there for the world to see.
Do individuals get personal credits for the work that they do, or is this simply the joy of knowing that you're contributing to something maybe bigger than you?
Oh, okay. That's a beautiful question. So Wikimedia, it's actually, they do a lot of conferences, both locally and internationally, and they also fund some of. Let's say you have a project and you want to document maybe the Calabar Festival or the Calabar Carnival. You could actually request, and if they deem it fit to see that it would add color or to Wikipedia, they would fund that. It's limited. It's not something that I would. But then aside that, I think we have that passion already, and people are most young storytellers are saying, no, we want to be part of something that's preserves our culture and then history, and also gives us dignity of purpose for who we are.
But by credits, I'm not necessarily referring to financial gain or profit. Maybe just recognition. So, for example, if I see some piece,
Mm.
is it credited to an individual? Do you see the person that made that edit or make that
Yes,
post? So the people get personal credit
Okay.
for the work that they've done.
Yes, yes. So when you go into Wikipedia, there's usually create a username and a password and all of that. So every edit and every upload you do is actually credited to you. So the more you edit, I think, and then there's this thing with milestones. When you see that I uploaded 10 pictures and then this other person is still, so you try as much as possible to beat your your contribution, and that's what actually makes it more exciting for us. And then secondly, we are also trying to, since we started, we've been running a campaign, which is the rights and rituals of the Niger Delta. Is usually an annual African contest and campaign to actually focus on thematic areas that revolve around the African context. But this year we focused on rights and rituals, and um, it's a very complex, theme, because it also resonates with the realities of the Niger Delta, looking at our cultural diversity and our uniqueness in diversity. So we are focusing on different rites and rituals, which are around festivals. Our festivals are oral history, culture, languages, dressing, and you name it. So a lot of these rites and rituals we have been documenting, and one of the things that we also thought it's nice to do is also to project some of the storytellers that have contributed to this campaign through awards, giving them maybe a type, not really much, but then something to tell them, you're doing an amazing job, and as well create like an exhibition at the end of the day that they can, be part of, to exhibit the work that they've been doing, also to project them. So it's not just about showcasing your culture, it's also giving credit to these amazing storytellers that have been doing amazingly well in the region. So, and the thing again is this, that I mean, there are a lot of storytellers are doing so amazingly well in other states of United that are not just rivers. We got a lot of young people who are doing amazingly well. They are either videographers or documentary photographers, and they've done so well that, they've gotten international recognitions, but we don't know them. So this is an opportunity for us to project our own.
How does digital documentation connect to, or why is digital documentation so important to preserving memory, culture, identity? Because before all of these digital assets, if I may use that term, were available to us, we've always documented. A lot of the things that you're preserving today, or in others in your community and other communities, are things that were documented before we had Wikipedia, before we had all the others. A lot of what is taught in history today are documented things as well. So why is this so crucial, and how does it connect to preserving culture and identity?
Oh, yeah, I totally agree with you that we've actually been documenting for a long time. But then you ask a question, where are those documentations now? Right? Are they still valid? Are they still, some of those have gone on extinct? Either the people who the buildings that these things were stored have been demolished, or they're out of existence. But digital documentation actually bridges the old and the new. Yes, rich cultural heritage and all of that, but then we need a platform where these things can actually be preserved for the future generations to look back and say, yeah, this is the way of life of our people. And somebody like a child who was born in London can actually go on Wikipedia and see something for herself. Oh, I'm from Ijo. This is how the Ijo people dance. There's a rite of passage called Iria. You get it. So, but then if we don't have these things online, you- she probably might never come to her village to actually have an experience of this. So the best idea is to put it online for everyone to have access to. And it also helps, especially in the areas of research, you know research. It helps in the areas of investments as well. It also helps in the areas of intervention and government policies. So it's not just about culture. It's a fulcrum that intersects um, in different dimensions. Yes.
What projects is the Wikipedia Niger Delta community currently working on?
We are running a campaign on the rights and rituals of the Niger Delta. So we are focusing on everything in its entirety that gives credence to the rites and rituals. Rites and rituals can be daily, they can be seasonal. So it depending on the one that you have in your community. So there could be a coronation, it could be a coronation, it could be a yam festival, it could be a wrestling festival, it could be um age grade. So they are different. So we want to highlight some of these, all of them, if we are able to, on the Wikipedia platform, so that we have enough resources of the Niger Delta in areas of rites and rituals to be that anybody can have access to online.
As the founder of the Wikipedia Niger Delta community, what do you suppose would would amount to success for the Wikipedia Niger Delta community in the near and distant future?
Thank you. So I see a community where more people are aware of Wikipedia, and open source are able to edit freely without any hindrance or interference. You are we Then secondly, we also want to see a community where we have a lot of partners who have accepted, yes, that this is necessary, and then we need to come together as an ecosystem to project our heritage online.
We have to go now, but I just thought to ask you this. So since it's a community of people who edit materials and give all the updates, it could have a scenario where an edit or an update is wrong or false. Have you ever had such a scenario where, and if that's the case, is it flagged by somebody? Does Wikipedia then pull it down? And have you had any such experience?
Okay, so I really don't need to. I really don't need to say much about this because, like I said, it has a community guideline, and there are patrols who roll around their platform to make sure that we do not vandalize, the platform, because for every platform like Wikipedia, the essence of its existence is in the authenticity of the information that we put out there, right? So if it's not, if it's not in line, it's automatically deleted. So that's why there was a time that the president's age was. So when it becomes that technical, or it becomes that, of a notable person, the page is locked so that we don't vandalize. So there's so much restrictions and there's so much guidelines that guide the work that we do. So we don't just you don't just wake up and just put up something. You put up something in line with the community guideline.
All right. And on that note, we wrap up this episode of Canvas, the Niger Delta Roundtable. Who Tells Our Wiki-Story has been this episode's topic. My guest has been the founder of the Wikipedia Niger Delta community, Michael Diala. Michael, it's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you very much, Dio. It's been amazing.
And I thank you for the work you and your other community members are doing.
Thank you very much.
I'm Dio Lishakin, and Canvas, the Niger Delta Roundtable was brought to you by Renaissance. Let's keep telling our Niger Delta story. And do have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.